Hey everybody, this is Ryan, and what I have here in this massive box is an external LED. You could call it a floodlight, but it is a highfalutin security light, floodlight. I'm going to give you an overview exactly how it works because it is solar powered. Now this company reached out to me and said, Ryan, can you do one of your very detailed reviews on our here LED street light? Whether you want to use it at your house for security or whatever it is, because it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to see from a picture exactly what goes into this. Who am I to say no? But in no way whatsoever will this being provided to me affect this review, because I am just here to keep it real. Let's get into it. So what all do you get in this? We're gonna call it a street light. This LED solar powered street light. So you have some, I'm gonna call this like industrial mounts. This is, I don't know if that's aluminum or steel, but it's fairly lightweight for the most part, but it's definitely sturdy. You can see the welding on there is on point, quite the solid welding. Looks like it comes with all the necessary brackets to mount this thing. We're gonna see exactly how we're gonna mount this thing ourselves. It comes with, I wasn't expecting this, it comes with a remote. You have your light fixture. This thing is legit. I mean, look. This is quite impressive. This is, and then you have the piece à la résistance, the massive solar panel. All right, I'm gonna give you some exact measurements. So the total width is 23.5 inches, not width, length. 23.5 inches lengthwise. Widthwise, you're at 13.75 that way. This way. So that's going to be your solar power. That's what's going to capture all of the juice to get this thing going. 21.5 inches total length from here to here, and then on the width, about 9.5 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook this thing up and see if it's as bright as the sun. No, just kidding. We're just going to hook this thing up and see how bright this thing is, how much space, depending on how I have it set up. We're gonna illuminate, and I'm actually pretty excited about using the remote. So let's get into it. All right, so I have this thing assembled before we're getting ready to put it outside. It does come pre-charged a little bit. I think that's so when you're plugging it together, you're like, holy mackerel, this thing is bright. I mean, this thing is, the room I'm in is lit up. There's a couple different settings. There is, and it looks like it uses infrared using this right here. It does have a 4 lights. Let's just see how it all works here. We have, so there are 4 light modes. I'm getting ready to highlight them for you. Check this out. So the first one is going to be always on, and that pretty much means it's on day, night, until the battery runs out. And so if the battery runs out over nighttime, then when it charges back up during the day, it's going to be on again. So there's also a light sensing mode, and that is the auto control. So when you hit auto, as it is right now, because I'm inside, the light's on, it is off. But then when it gets dark enough, the light will actually turn on. So when the sun goes down or it's dark enough outside, it will go on and it will stay on either until it lasts all night long or until the battery dies, and then it will recharge the next day and go back into auto mode when the sun goes down again. There's also a 3, 8, and 5, 3, and 8 timer mode. So at night, what you would do is you would pick your time, and then it would just stay on for that amount of time, and then it would turn off. So it would be on for 3 hours and it would cut off. There's also a M for motion sensor. So at night, it's gonna be at about 30%. Right now the lights in here is too bright, but it would be at about 30% brightness. And then when something moves in front of this, it would kick immediately on to 100% until there was no movement, and then it would go back down to 30%. And there are 4 brightness settings. So we're gonna go all the way down to the bottom. And then, so there it's on, but it's you know, it's nothing crazy. And then you have 1, 2, and 3 settings. So it's gonna get you pretty bright, but you do have 4 brightness settings to work with. Now you might be wondering, how long a battery will this thing hold? It has 3,000 hours. And so that's not like consistently one charge, 3,000 hours. That's like total life of the built-in battery, which I would assume is in this compartment right here. 3,000 hours of use life. Now from a temperature standpoint, it can work down to a negative 20 degrees Celsius and a positive 80 degrees Celsius. Now after 3,000 hours, the lithium battery that is in here can be replaced. And if you're wondering if this thing is getting charged and really maximum charging, these little indicators tell you what's going on. And so when you no longer have a flashing green light, flashing green light means it's in charging mode. When it's no longer flashing, that tells you it's completely charged and you are ready to go. Now, as far as installation is concerned, they recommend making sure you place this somewhere to where not only are you getting sun, but you can adjust because of how this is structured. You can flex this, if you will, and then do your final setup and tighten it to where it's pretty much gonna get maximum sun exposure, really to make sure you get maximum life if you're planning on using this for the duration of the evening. Now, from a mounting hardware standpoint, it does come with these bolts that can be used for, I would say like cinder block or something like that. You have these bolts that you would drill in, put it in there, and then when you tighten it, it kind of expands and grabs. It also has a pole mount. So if you are mounting this on a pole, you would have the option to clamp. It doesn't need to be a pole, it could be a piece of wood, but you'd have an opportunity of clamping this instead of just straight bolting it to something. You could clamp it to something that you wanted it to clamp to, and it comes with all the necessary hardware to get a firm clamp. So when it comes to using the remote, you got about 50 feet or so that it will reach. And then if I put it on the M mode, that's what's gonna knock it down to 30%. But then if I move, it's gonna pick up and go to 100%, as you just saw there. You also have auto, which it's getting kind of dark, so it's gonna be on anyway. And that is basically just gonna be, once it gets dark enough, it automatically cuts on. And then I'm not gonna do a 3-hour long wait, but that's what would get you that. And then you have your brightness, and you can see there I knocked down the brightness, or if I want the brightness to go up, and you can see the green lights as far as charging is concerned. Now, I haven't not had this sit out for a long period of time, and in this particular situation, it is bolted to wood, so you have that option as well. And in this particular location, I will get enough sun. It may not seem like that from the video, but I'll definitely get enough sun. And I can pitch the back where the actual solar panel is facing the sun, which is straight up. There's actually a good bit of sun that's gonna hit that. So hopefully that helps get all your questions answered. And it lights up a good bit of space. And I would also note that the height of this, it's got a pretty good throw as far as how much light you're trying to give off and illuminate the space you're trying to illuminate. But if you want to focus it on a smaller portion of your property or wherever you have this at, then you would want to pitch it down and then aim it a little bit closer to the ground, or a little bit higher up like this is going to give you a longer throw, as they say, and it's going to capture more square footage. To kind of put things in perspective, that is what it would look like at night. And you can see it's lighting this whole area. That's at least, I mean, that's more than, that's like almost 100 feet wide and long area that it's illuminating quite nicely, So if you're looking at a solar powered, don't need to do any kind of wiring, light fixture for like a street pole light, or if you just need this somewhere on your property that you want to illuminate it in a massive way, this might just be the solar street light for you. Hope this helps. We'll talk to you soon.